Well, hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Reptile News. Now we've got three stories to talk about today. One sad story, one stupid story, and then of course your trial watch. The sad story comes out of South Dakota where Reptile Gardens announced this Sunday their giant tortoise Methuselah, I think that's how you pronounce it, passed away. Now this tortoise came to Reptile Gardens in 1954 from the Galapagos Islands, and it's an estimated 130 years old. People at the zoo recall grandparents telling their grandchildren about when they first came to the zoo and saw this tortoise. And next, our stupid story. PETA is actually protesting Arizona Cardinals defensive end Darnell Dockett. Apparently Darnell bought himself a pet alligator, and PETA has a big problem with this. Now, we've spoken about this many times before, and everybody, I think, kind of has the same opinion on pet alligators and crocodiles and some of those larger, more dangerous species of reptiles, that if you can afford to care for it properly and provide it the space that it needs, then it's all good. And I would have to say that an Arizona Cardinals defensive end can probably do that, at least has the money to do that. Of course, there has been no response from the NFL or Darnell for PETA's protest, which I see no problem with that. I mean, the only response I could see is screw you. And of course that leads us to our douchebag of the day, which is EcoRazi.com, the news establishment that ran this story, that says maybe he should have adopted a shelter dog or a cat instead. Well, screw you. And now time for your trial watch. The parents of the young girl that was killed by the albino Burmese python in Florida had their first day in court, and the prosecutors were saying that the snake was an instrument of death in the case of this child premature passing. Now apparently prosecutors, they haven't, I don't think they're going to bring the snake into court. The snake did survive and it is being taken care of currently. I don't think they're going to bring it into court. I don't see why they would, but apparently they did bring the baby's crib and the 200-gallon enclosure that was housing this albino Burmese python. They brought those two items into court for jurors to see. And apparently things that are coming to light, not only did the mother say that she offered to buy the snake for $500 just to get it out of that house. Apparently her husband also offered to come to the house and make a lid for it, but he was turned down and said that the boyfriend was going to do that and just hadn't gotten to it yet. Now the couple are being tried together, and if convicted of all counts of involuntary manslaughter, third-degree murder, and child neglect, they could face up to 35 years in prison. And of the people that testified today was a paramedic, the first paramedic to arrive, that actually carried the girl from her bed to the ambulance. That said rigor mortis had already set in, and it makes me wonder how long did they wait to call for help. I've actually heard the telephone, the 911 tapes, and maybe I'll be able to find those and put them on one of these shows. I'll see if I can do that, but I've heard the tape and it kind of sounds like he just found her and called immediately, but the paramedic had said rigor mortis had already set in, that her limbs did not dangle like they should have, but she was completely stiff when he carried her to the ambulance. And that's going to lead us right to our question of the day. You know, this whole story has really just haunted the entire reptile community for several years now. What do you think about this story? Leave a text comment or a video response, and that has been all your news for this Wednesday. If you'd like to read any more of these stories, those links are right down below here in the description. And as always, if you're still watching, my name is Jason White. Now you know what's going on in the reptile world. Be good to each other, and we'll see you on Friday.